Hello there my YouTube friends. So what I've got now is, with when you're collecting 1/6 scale figures and shit like that, you end up running out of space. A lot of people will either use detolfs. Once you run out of space in detolfs, you normally go to some sort of custom style thingy, and it can cost a canny bit. I'm doing it now on a cheap. I'm going to show you what I've bought. I've already started painting some of them already because I was that eager to get on with it and get it started so that I can get building. I've bought this stuff from Cut My Plastic. It cost me under £1,000. Now I have got some plastic sheeting in the house as well, but as you can see there, it's basically like 15 milli thick MDF. Lots of different sizes for the different things I'm going to need. Here, you can see on the deck in there how I'm busy painting it black. That's washing, by the way, it's what's casting the shadow in there. I'm starting to paint them black. As you can see, I'm part of the way through one of them, and I've got all these to paint either side. I'm not painting these sides because that's pointless, because that's the bit that's going to end up going either touching the floor or basically getting screwed into the side of another piece to make my own shelving. And I just need to basically buy some lights. Like I say, I've got some plastic sheeting in the house, sort of in there. You can see there's the sort of plastic sheeting I need to basically lock them off so there's anything gets in, and I just need to buy some lights. The lights is going to be the hardest thing for us to do at the minute, because I've got no idea what lighting to use. But there you go, and that's what I'm busy doing in a minute. I'll show you bits and pieces as I get on. And there we go guys, that's the first ones painted, both tops and bottoms. On the sides that I'm doing, obviously, like I said to you, these edges here that you can see aren't painted. Well, that's because they're either going to be on the floor or they're going to be attached to the other pieces. I've still got all these lot to do. Get in, you kind of come out here because you'll end up wanting to paint. I've still got all them to do, but by the looks I'm going to have to buy more paint, because I went through one full tin of this stuff already. It's supposed to be one quick drying, one coat type stuff, but I've went through that tin already. I'm sort of a quarter of the way through that tin, and I've still got another tin in there, but I don't think it's going to cover all of those, so I'm going to probably have to buy another tin or two of that. But that's the first one's done, just drying off now. Hopefully I'll get another, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 done a day. So that's them, and that'll leave us these back ones to do probably tomorrow if the weather thingies. But as you can see, the sort of clouds are coming over and they're a little bit darkish, so I'm a little bit weary now of whether the sun's going to stay out enough for the thingy. But those ones have dried very quickly, so let's just hope there's no sort of streakiness to them when I've got them up. Yeah, but they don't look too bad. You know what I mean? I'm going to be quite thingy. Like I say, I've just got to find some sort of lighting for them. But one thing guys, I fucking hate painting. Painting to me is literally like doing cardio. You know what I mean? I friggin' hate cardio and I friggin' hate painting, but it's got to be done. You can see I'm already sort of getting covered in it. So, but there you go guys, that's the next little thingy. They are now done. Got some more of these to do. Time to get on with it after I have a cuppa. So okay guys, you can see there where I've had to like literally put in here to sturdy it up a bit, because obviously with it being such a long length, I thought I'd bought a thick enough one that it wouldn't bow, but obviously it got me measurements thingy. It was going to bow. It was also going to have a lot of sort of swaying movement, which would have just eventually would have collapsed our. So that's showing it up a little bit. Obviously I've just moved those into different angles, so it's not like all just sort of in a straight line all the way doing. As you can see, I've got to paint those bits. I've already painted the other bits. What I did end up doing was I painted the undersides of here, not realising that I only need to cut it in order to fit into there. That's why I hadn't painted these bits, otherwise I would have had these bits freaking already painted. And so I'm going to just have to touch them up, but obviously you've got bits here where I need to touch it up anyway. So it's not so bad. And obviously I've fixed it to the wall, so there and there, to give it a bit more sturdiness. So it's literally, I mean, I'm trying to move it back and forwards, and it's not, see, it's not moving. You have got a bit of bounce. I don't know if you can see that. You'll probably see it better from there. There's a bit of bounce to it, but it's a lot sort of sturdier now. These bits aren't like, they're not thinking, because if I try to screw that, it would just literally, with it being so thin, it would just take it apart. And if I try and put a nail through it, chances are it would just break it apart. So all I've literally got them doing is they're just in place, holding the thingy up. You know what I mean? And I'm just hoping that, because it's got them sort of here rather than over here, that doesn't start to bow. Otherwise I'm going to end up having to basically put another one in there and another one in down there to fix them. But that's sort of one of them in place. Still not finished, still not completed, obviously, like I say, because I've got it painted. But I've also got, obviously, like the clear acrylic sheet that I need to be able to put, which will be one going into here, one going into that one, and one going into that one, to sort of thingy them in. And then I need to find some way to lighten it up, which I think that's going to be, that's the biggest nightmare I'm going to have, is the working out how the hell I'm going to do the lighting. That's the one that's got us really sort of thing, because I'm just not even sure how the hell I'm going to rig that one up, because I certainly want lighting in there, you know what I mean? It would be just too damn deep when you're trying to do like that. It is basically, these are 50 centimeters deep, you know, so it's like sort of 500 milli deep. And these ones, the same as what the one back here is going to be. That's going to be a 500 milli deep one as well, which is basically wider than what that part of the wall is. It's going to actually stick out from this edge, and that's why I've got like a thingy where I can put more shelving there in order to sort of make it look better. But that's the first one, sort of like up and in place and ready. Painted, just got to like I said, but put some touch up painting in, and that's that done. Yeah, and I'm quite happy with it. I'm thinking about possibly just showing these up a bit more as well, as by possibly drilling them ends into there to make sure that one can't move, and putting like a sort of a thing like what that is into the wall, into the floor, and into that, just to hold it in place more, so it's more sturdy as well, so that the bottom end doesn't sort of have any movement on it. But that's something I'll work out like sort of soon, and find out whether that needs to be done in order to make that a bit more sturdy. And like I say, that's the main thing, is that, you know, these are going to move at some point. It's just how sturdy they're going to be and whether they'll stay there. And like I say, I'll just do some touch-up work sort of in the corners there, where you can see where it's sort of like I've had to sort to make it fit. But I'm quite happy with how it's coming along. It's not perfect, but it's a damn sight cheaper than what it would be to cost us to bloody get the makeshift ones made up for us, you know, or to get and sort of buy some cabinets for it. You know what I mean? So far it's cost us, I think, close to £1,000. I haven't sat and worked it out fully, but it'll be somewhere sort of close to £1,000. The wood itself and the plastic sheeting, because obviously I've got six of those, they all come to about just under 800, I think, or just over 800 quid. So that wasn't too bad. Like I say, I've got them bits there, them bits there, and I need to put that one together. I just need to be able to shift this bloody sofa out the way somewhere, because putting it there, I wouldn't have enough room to manoeuvre myself, so I'm going to have to get it out of the room completely. But hey, I'm fucking happy with that now. It's 2 days, like 2.5 days solid graft. I did do a video yesterday when this was actually on the floor down here, and I was busy putting it together, to show you what I had in mind, but the damn video didn't work. It didn't record properly, and I'm just hoping this one friggin' does, otherwise I'm going to be well miffed. But there you go, guys, that's the thingy up. Don't worry, them curtains are going to end up changing and all. That's just what was here beforehand. But I'm happy with how that's going to start looking. I just wish I could get far enough back to be able to show you this, because I just won't be able to get far enough back right now, because I'm touching against the sofa now, and when I get the other one up, I might not get far enough back either. So, but there you go, I am happy, and we'll show you some more in the next one. Okay guys, here you go. Just a rag there. I've got one for you, one here just to get an idea. Like I say, I still got the touch-up paint to do and work out things, because that still looks like it's going to bow slightly, which is a bit of a thing. It's got us a bit concerned that it might over time fucking seriously bow. So we'll have to think, because I don't really want to move them all directly in the middle. It'll make it look too uniform. I may have to move these ones in slightly to try and thing it, but I don't want them right all in the middle, because that just it'll end up making it look too uniform, and I don't want that. I want it to look slightly strange, but obviously there's just think with the rags, I've literally just sort of finished what I was being doing to take me some curtains. I'll get them changed for a better thing with curtains, and that one I've just put up today. Literally just finished it. So again, it needs the touch-up paint and that one. This one's gonna have to be all this stuff gonna be thinking touched up with some black paint. You know what I mean? But that one there is literally, it's flush against that part of the wall, and this is like another corner thing here. As you can see where it sticks out in there, but it gives us room to either put in shelving sort of directly across from here, so that goes straight, or I can actually have a one coming out and stick out to where the end of this is, and have that sort of square, and put some stuff in it, and maybe even have them at alternate heights to these ones. So again, it's not all sort of going to be uniform. I could sort of stagger those ones as well. That's something I'll work out in time. But that's the there, and I've got to sort of work with these, because these ones cut slightly out. You see, so there's a slight gap in them. So I'm going to have to try and think of something to get them ones back in place, and think sort of put a little tiny brackets in there just to keep them in place and thingy. But so that's the slightly smaller unit of the two. And I mean slightly smaller by like maybe an inch or so smaller than this one. But I've got the other ones for going on this wall, because they're going to come down, and eventually I'm going to have a TV, a big TV in there. Well, it'll be a big TV for me. It'll probably be around about the 50-inch area, and then I'll be able to put panels like sort of going up either side of it, have a panel and maybe across the top of it, going across the bottom of it. I was thinking about resting it on the thingy, but I don't know whether to screw it into the wall. Just the only problem with these walls are the walls are really freaking bad. It's in a really old house, and I'm sort of scared that the walls won't take the weight. The plaster and everything won't take the weight of the actual thingy. So I was thinking about maybe putting them onto there, but then it would be a case of then having to probably get a couple of more bits to shove down there, and then maybe make sort of shelving on that, which would probably look decent again. But that's something I'm going to work out once I've sort of getting to that point. And obviously you can see the bits of perspex there, because these were measured out. So hopefully when I get the chance to, because I've got lighting coming, so I'm going to have lighting probably running across the top to light the top end up, coming across this bottom part or the top part of there, coming down, possibly going across there, or coming straight down underneath and coming across the underneath part to light the next one. It's just something I've got to work out. I've got sort of two 15-meter cables, which you think yourself, well, 15 meters, friggin' that's kind of thingy. But this one here, if you literally just sort of measure coming down, coming back across, down there, underneath there, down there, underneath that one, down onto there, and underneath that one, and coming down onto the floor, that's just over 10 meters. Surprising, isn't it? It's just over 10 meters. That one is going to be roughly about 10 meters to just under. That one's just over. So buying the 15, I've got to work out what I can do with it, how far I can get it to go. But I mean, I'm happy with how that's looking so far. Like I say, just got to touch up the paintwork and make the paintwork look better, and get these bits, get little maybe tiny small brackets into these corners, kind of thing, into these corners, just to keep that into place, keep this one into place. Get tiny little brackets, and that should do them. I already have internet up here ready, to go. I've got little bits left over, and you can see there's the perspex and the thingy, and I have got some magnetic strips, so I'll be putting some magnetic strips across those and across these, so hopefully they'll just into place. And if I've got my measurements right, which, you know, I'm not a professional, guys, so they might be right, they might be slightly out, we'll sharp fin it when I come to try and date. And if not, I'm gonna have to just put little sort of ledges on to try and see if I can work out to get it to the thingy that way. But we'll see. I'm happy with how it's looking, and even if they end up being something that really is sort of that far out, then I could easily leave it like it is there now, you know what I mean? But it gives us, as you can see, plenty of depth to put extra characters on, so that's cool. Well, that's how it's looking so far. Again, that's where I'm up to at the minute. I'm a bit shattered at the minute now after doing all that and being to the gym and everything this morning, just finishing work yesterday, so I'm going to give myself a chance to recuperate before maybe doing a bit of painting on that tomorrow. And I think the thing is, the lighting's supposed to arrive tomorrow, so I don't know whether to start that straight away or whether to give that a day and then start looking at how I'm going to rig the lighting up. But there you go, guys. I'm happy. You know, I'm happy with how that's starting to come together and starting to look in. You know, just got a few little bits and pieces that I need to sort of work out. So, but I'll get there. You know, I will eventually be over the moon. But you can see there is a gap big enough either side of the bed settee thing. It's just a case of how far out would that need to come if we needed to turn it back into a bed from when I made these. I mean, these ones are only 40 milli, it's not 40 milli, 40 centimeters wide, whereas these ones are 50 centimeters wide. So, but there we go, guys. Thanks very much. Catch us in the next part when I do the next bit of it. There you go, and more. So I've got these bits thinking in where the screws are. Just need to paint that up. I'm going to have to obviously touch up a lot of these sort of things, corners and what have you. I'm going to touch up these bits. Obviously these bits definitely need redoing. I've got one carrot out there just to sort of see, you can see the space you've got above them to get plenty, so I could put risers in behind and put ones above and it still fit, because you think that really with the likes of him, and you can see how much it could be risen up, or I can have them sort of floating type characters there. So, but that's sort of that one which you'd already seen in place. Got this settee back where it belongs. Just obviously need to tidy it up a bit more, but I've just finished. And there's my other one. Just completed that one this morning. Got it all in place. You can see it literally, I've got it so it literally just fits in there. I had to take the skirting off that bottom bit to get it flush, because obviously if I'm going to put in shelving in here as well at some point, then I need it to be flush against the wall. I've obviously cut that bit of skirting and put it back in the rough place. But I could sort of look at doing these ones on a different spacings to these ones, to just to keep it all not uniform, because I don't like the being uniform, because it's the same with that. You know, I'm worried about it starting to sort of belly a little bit in these places, because I don't want to move them into the centre and have them all centralised, because then it'll just look too uniform, and I don't want it looking uniform. I want it to be slightly out. I've got some lighting coming, I think it's going to arrive tomorrow, to start putting some lighting on it and lighting it up, because obviously you can see how with the light coming in how much shadow is going to be in that part of it. And it's sort of same in there, you can see like how much shadow will be cast on there and there, and obviously when you're in here it's a lot darker, so I'm going to need some lights. I'm going to have to get some new curtains, because I don't want the pink style freaking curtains in here, so I'm going to try and pick up some sort of maybe black curtains or something to go on there. But there you go, that's how it's coming along. Like, I've got obviously them bits that I've had to cut off, those bits there off when I do the unit around this bit, around where the TV will eventually go. Obviously they'll come off the wall, and then there's the perspex. So I'm hoping that if I've got my measurements right, they should be able to fit directly against those bits there, and there. Same on the other side with the magnetic strips. But if I've got them wrong, well, I can't leave it open like that, you know what I mean, and still be happy enough with it once I've touched up that paint. Which like I say, I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow because I'm shattered now. It's, you know, it's got me knackered, so I'm going to go down and have a bite to eat and rest up for the rest of the afternoon. Because my ankle's killing. There you go, well, that's where I'm at. Look here, guys, so that you can see, look, I've got the first lot of magnets. The magnets are running now all the way down and across these. You see how I've made it so that there was a gap of enough to fit the next one too. And you see it. Now there's an issue, and I knew I'd probably do this because, like I say, I'm not a professional. Okay, and that is over in this corner. And you're coming down, and it's fine all the way there. But when you get here, that plastic you can see is overlapping too far down, which means the wood behind here is in the wrong place. So I'm now going to have to literally unscrew all the back thingies on both sides so that I can shift this whole cabinet out, remove 3 screws from the back of there, try and drop that down by a good 1/4 of an inch or so, yeah, a good 1/4 of an inch, and then re-thing it back in so that hopefully that'll then drop this down enough so that I can get it where it'll thingy. Because either that or something else has went wrong with where how they cut it exactly square, or is me flooring out enough that it's causing that issue. But you can see it works, it's holding it in place. I mean, yes, I have had a slight accident where it, when I tried to work with it before, it fucking dropped off and that corner is now smashed, but you're barely going to be able to tell that. And if I get the chance to, if it works out well enough, I'll be able to flip this over anyway and put that to that top corner where you won't be able to see it really because there's going to be a curtain towards that end. But you can see it holds it and it's doing it all right. Obviously it's going to be a bit more awkward when I've got to try and keep taking it off to try and alter things, because then I've got to make sure, because of the length of it, that I grab it from certain positions, because obviously it's just, it wobbles and things all over the place. Yeah, but you have got a sort of thing where I can get my finger in behind here or behind here to be able to prise it off. Yeah, but I'm thinking sort of maybe I should put little, I don't know, like little sort of tiny sort of U-shaped thingies onto there, so that I've got a place where I can just pull them off from there. But you can see it is holding. I'm quite chuffed with that, because that was my main concern, was whether it would actually stay up and whether I would have to put a lip on the bottom one to make sure it sort of held each one in place. But you can see I put the top one in place and then the others, and it is holding. I've just now got to sort of sort that corner out and see if I can drop that one down a little bit so that it's thinking without it actually not having enough support on the top bit. But that's what I'm going to have a look at now, guys. Okay then, guys, so you've seen some of the other footage that I've been doing. I've now pretty much got most of it done. There's still a few little tweaks to do. As you can see, I've got still got my stuff doing here. I've still got some wood over here, which is to build around here when I put the TV and what have you into place. This unit's going to stay in because I think it'll be a nice contrast, the black and the white. But if it doesn't, well then I'll paint it black, because it's going to be sturdy enough to hold the TV on, because just using that wood, I think, might not be sturdy enough. But there you go, guys. This obviously, the light is on, but you can't get a good full thing of it, because obviously how light it is outside, it's bloody just shining on it and it's blurring it out. You might be able to tell, obviously, that there is now perspex on there. That was probably the hardest job I've had to get done. And it's still basically freaking, especially this other side, which I'm going to show you in a second, is basically, I need to take them back off, find something to clean them with where it will stop things from like literally clinging to itself again immediately. You'll be able to see it's not perfect. There's a lot of it's sort of out of whack, out of joint, and that's literally just to do with the fact is that the actual wood itself sort of can bevel, can warp, can drop and all that crap, because it's that long that I wasn't expecting it. I think I was expecting it to be thick enough to stay sturdy and thingy, but it hasn't. Plus the floors and everything are out. This is an old house. So when I had it laying sort of flat down here, I measured it out perfectly so that each piece of perspex would fit in like sort of half and half, so that it would literally attach between the two of them half and half. Whereas you can see with that one there, it's not even attached at all because the wood is here. Yeah, so this has got no attachment at all. It's literally being held on over in this sort of corner, which isn't even being held on fully. So whenever I sort of want to take, I can't take the bottom perspex out without taking the other two off first, which is one of the worst things of it, especially as the actual magnets that I used around here pretty much aren't strong enough. Yeah, they would do a good enough job if it was something smaller than this, but because of the size of this thing, it's not good enough. So this gives you an idea. Oh, this fell over as well. That's going to be an awkward bugger to pick back up. I don't know how to do that in a minute. Get an idea of sort of like what I'm just starting to do. And this is basically like me predator end of things. I'm quite sort of happy that they've got the predator figures and what have you, all sort of thing. That's how I've always wanted to display that one. It's like a proper thingy. Like over this side, you can see this is going to be me Star Wars one. Got one sort of figure above, which is that's the one my mum bought as a sideshow piece. And you've got them ones in there. So you can see just here how we've got like the thingy sticking to it, and literally I've cleaned that a couple of times, and as soon as I put it back on again, it's just like ding, and fucking just cling to itself immediately. So I need to get something to clean them off. But again, it's the same thing over here, you know, that as soon as I put this upright in an upright position, the floor being slightly freaking out, the walls being slightly freaking out, and the fact that the length of this was that big that it was starting to bevel, that's why I had to put these in, which I think I've already mentioned before, but it's still warped. The wood still sort of managed to fucking sort of warp itself slightly enough to knock everything out. That's why that, as you can see, sort of sticks above over there. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking to myself, well, it's good enough for me. It ain't no moducase, but the idea is based off a moducase idea, and now it's just a case of ironing out a few little things. But I think for myself, for what I need it for, to sit down here and have the TV there, basically have this lot with them above. Yeah, obviously I'm going to be shifting him across to this side once I've built this unit up around here, around the TV set. Yeah, and then have these guys. Yeah, I'm going to get some sort of blackout curtains. My mum gave us those grey ones. I've got a grey throw to go on here and a grey rug to go down here. But like I say, I'm going to have to try and blacken it out so that you can get a better view. But maybe later on, if I get the chance, if I remember onwards, it'll not be tonight because I'm going out tonight. But maybe one of these nights, I will literally come in here in the night time, put the lights on, and show you exactly how it looks, how much better it looks when sort of, you can get a full thing of what the lights look like, you know. But they're sort of pretty much complete. I just need to do the odd little finishing touch, and obviously, let's say, put the TV into there, build the units around that, and then get whatever I need to put into there. I've got the idea of putting some shelving on different thingies here in order to basically, like, so these helmets, to get a few more helmets, maybe put the helmets up here, or possibly put the helmets in there and some up either side of it. That it's all stuff that can be worked out in time. So this is pretty much the Man Cave 2.0. I'll show you what the Man Cave 1.5 looks like, the old Man Cave, now that I've shifted a lot of this stuff out on another occasion. Well, there you go, guys, that's them pretty much completed. If there's any questions, don't hesitate to ask, guys. Just please, any negative freaking comments, I didn't need them, you know. I mean, it's not perfect, and that's not perfect. I didn't say it was perfect. I know I said I would be able to build it perfect. All I said was I was building myself something cheaper than what it would cost us to build a moducase. Yeah, to get the moducases that I would have needed for in here, as you can see by the size of these things, would have cost us probably around about £5 grand. That probably wouldn't even have included the shipping of them and the lighting. Yeah, so this has cost me, I believe, about £1 grand all told for everything. Yeah, maybe it's just over by the time I've bought a few bits and pieces that I've needed over. I think it's possibly cost us about £1 grand to build it. So I'm happy enough with that. Yes, I would have loved to have bought moducases, but at £5 grand, guys, I can build this for a bit cheaper. I'm happy enough. And there is my newest character I'm getting, and probably one of my favourite 1/6 scale ones, my bulldog. Happy as Larry with him. He's a beautiful piece. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate those that do. Please, yeah, if you like it, and by all means put a like on it. Comment, and I'll always comment back. Just, like I say, hold off on the negative shit, because it's not needed, it's not necessary. Yeah, man does what he has to do and affords what he can afford for his hobby. And this is what I can afford, so this is what I've done, and I think it looks decent enough. Anyway, guys, that's me out of here. Catch you in the next one.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.
Thank you?
You're welcome.
What? No. I didn't. I wasn't. Why would I ever say
Okay,
that? I mean,
okay.